guys, I think this is a first, possibly a first in the history of the world, a podcast brought to you live from a boat.
And depending on how it goes, it might be the last.
It might be the last. There might be a reason for that.
Yeah, welcome back to another episode of When It Rains, It Pours. I'm Keith Ray.
Virgil Kane is my name.
And today we've got some guests.
I didn't come up with anything witty this time.
Okay. Welcome back to the show, Tony Hull, the older brother of my older brother, and their cousin AJ.
How we doing?
There we go.
Arthur Joseph.
Arthur Joseph. We won't talk about how many because our family thinks we're royalty.
Okay.
I'm the 16th Arthur J.
Really? So it's like, now that's the thing about doing a podcast on the boat. We're just going to go ahead and get this out of the way. Yeah, there might be a little wind because we're on a fucking boat.
And we're going to move around a little bit.
And the background will change as we float into different directions. And also there might be a little bit of Boston playing in the background because we're about 30, 40 feet off this guy's back porch, and he's in there listening to a Boston CD. Or it could have been the record, you know. It could be a high five.
Could have been the record.
But anyway, I'm excited to do this episode. AJ, we've been wanting to have you on the podcast for quite some time now. And it's funny that you brought up the fact that your name is a family name, much like John's name is a family name on his dad's side.
Yeah.
On you guys' side of the family, Arthur Joseph goes back 16.
Arthur J.
Arthur J.
Arthur J.
Okay.
I'm the 16th. My son would be the 17th.
Okay.
It alternates between Arthur Joseph and Arthur John.
All right. Okay. So
and then I broke that a little bit, and I called my son Arthur Jackson.
I like that. So you wanted to put your own spin on things.
Well, that was the only way I could get my wife to
No,
agree
he
to.
wanted to put his wife's spin on things.
I like my wife. I wanted to stay married. That was kind of a choice that had to go together.
Right on. Well, because I actually had a question here in my notes, just to find out, did they just name you AJ because it's the reverse of JA, which is what my brother's name is? So I guess you're not like Bizarro JA.
No, but see, you got it backwards. I'm older than your brother,
I
so they
wasn't
would have had to
born yet.
reverse it for me.
when they named him.
Oh, okay. So I was way off there. Well, on to more pressing news.
Good question.
On to more pressing news. Have you guys noticed how apparently there's been a push in the media in the last week or so? See, I was going to bring this up last episode, and then when we didn't get around to it, I was like, well, you know, it's not really all that important that we didn't mention it. And then, sure enough, there were more news articles about it the following week, and I was like, well, apparently this is something that is very important and people must be made aware of. Did you know that Oprah was kind of shitty to Dolly Parton? Have you heard anything about this?
I don't follow those circles.
Well, it's interesting to me that Uproxx would release not one but two articles about how Oprah apparently was kind of pressing on Dolly's shall we say plastic surgery indulgences, and Dolly made some kind of brilliant joke, as she normally does when anybody says anything kind of shitty to her. She kind of laughs it off with a good joke, and she was like, oh, I was getting plastic surgery while a lot of these girls were still in their diapers, you know. And
A real zinger.
yeah, so she was like, you know, I've been getting plastic surgery for a long time, so yes, I have gotten some and I'm happy with it. Basically, she was saying, do you think all your plastic surgery was good? You know, and that wasn't, and she was like, yeah, I'm happy with it. But that wasn't enough. She had to keep on. Oprah just kept pressing her and pressing her Are your tits real? You know, do you have you ever had one of those?
That might be the only part of Dolly that hadn't been touched. She had those knockers for a while.
Number one, mind your business, Oprah.
Yeah, like it's just not nice conversation anyway.
It's none of your damn business.
Yeah,
Dolly can do what she wants.
I got one question for Oprah. Do you have a theme park in the middle of nowhere in Tennessee?
Well, and
Because
you know,
Dolly does.
not to dock the plastic surgery, but I have a feeling Dolly Parton will be longer than those diapers will be. She'll biodegrade long after the diapers are gone.
And also Oprah has had tons of plastic surgery herself. Like why would if she's gonna say that she went from being the Oprah of the color purple to the Oprah we now are familiar with seeing without surgical assistance, I mean, then she's a liar. So why don't you just say how you feel about your own plastic surgery? Why bring up and my biggest problem with
When did she say this to Dolly?
is about 9 days ago. And there's been I think we're up to 4 news articles that have been written about this exchange. And I want to see.
God, these news articles, shouldn't they be talking about something important?
Well, that's the thing. I didn't know that Uproxx had a stake in the race war. But clearly they're trying to stoke the fire, you know. Like if you're going to come after the white Oprah with the black Oprah. I mean, because Dolly is one of those ladies that she's I don't know, the president of every fucking trashy white trashest person's heart, you know?
She's the redneck queen.
Yeah, she's the redneck queen. Exactly. She's our queen bee. She's our Beyonce. She's our Oprah. And to just make a big deal out of this, I understand. I thought it was rude. I thought what Oprah said to Dolly was uncalled for. But I wouldn't have brought it up. I wasn't going to bring it up on today's episode, except for the fact that it's still in the news cycle.
So my other question is, Dolly Parton is the only person that Oprah has ever met or had on her show or ever interviewed that has had plastic surgery?
Yeah. Apparently she's the one.
Tom Cruise.
You know, I mean, that's.
Oprah wouldn't ask that type of shit to Tom Cruise because he's got that Scientology behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those motherfuckers don't play around. They're like the Scientologists are the new Cosa Nostra. They got rid of the mob, but they let these fucking religious freaks do whatever the fuck they want.
I don't know.
But that's the thing. It's just it's just a typical example of how people who are heroes in the white trash community can just be shit on by anyone. And we have to take it. Well, I'll tell you right now, that fucking cunt Oprah better keep her goddamn mouth shut about Dolly Parton, okay? Because I'm not a right winger, okay? I don't believe in racial pride. I think we should all be ashamed, you know, unless we can break dance. You have nothing to be proud of. You know what I'm saying? You should be able to. You should be proud of accomplishments, but don't come for our Oprah with your Oprah.
You know,
okay?
That brings up a good point because I am a little confused about this pride. To an extent, I am a little confused about this overwhelming pride that people have about being born in a geographic location.
Oh yeah. Oh, the nationalism.
I am a Hoosier. That makes me. I was born in Indiana. I'm a Hoosier. I'm so much better than somebody born in
Kentucky, for instance.
Yeah, Kentucky or Georgia or
Tennessee,
you know,
Alabama,
or
Louisiana.
you know, somebody
so far,
who,
you're right. I don't disagree with any of those
but
things.
or somebody who was born in California is so this I was born somewhere, so that gives me some sort of privilege, or
Makes you better than other people
it
from other
makes
places.
me feel better because I wasn't born in this other place that may be 100 miles away.
Across an imaginary line
Yeah.
from wherever you are.
Why does that give you some sort of
I get your point, but
why does geographic location
Kentucky,
give
Tennessee,
you some sort of
Alabama, and Georgia
pride.
aren't the best.
Oh, you got a spider on you.
Oh,
You gonna scream like a little girl? Like when the toad jumped
Like
on
the
you?
toad
Why is all these different kinds of species climbing on me today? Coming out in the country, messing with you country dudes.
Yeah, we did some real country shit this morning. We shot it
Oh yeah,
like every gun known to man.
you broke out the arsenal, baby.
Every James Bond gun from every movie.
This is from Goldeneye. This is from Russia with Love.
I just thought you guys would like to have a nice little backstory for what you're shooting.
Yeah, no.
And why I like the guns that I like.
Well,
There's
no-
a story behind guns that I buy.
Well,
I didn't know
let's,
that you were this into James Bond.
I love James Bond.
How could you not be that into James Bond, though?
I don't understand
I
why
mean,
you're not so into James
I
Bond.
like the movies, but
Well, Matt Damon actually took offense at having his Jason Bourne character compared to James Bond.
I mean, I'm not into the Timothy Dalton James Bond. Don't anybody get me wrong.
I,
The-
Timothy
is that the
Dalton
new
James
one?
Bond. That sucks. Don't.
Is that the new blonde guy that they've
No,
got?
that's
playing?
the guy that was.
Daniel Craig.
That
Oh,
was
okay.
no,
Well, he
that
was
was
80s.
yeah, that was after Roger Moore.
After
Yeah,
Roger Moore.
Timothy
Yeah.
Dalton.
He did a couple of movies that he was horrible. It was but
yeah, I'm
you know,
more of a Connery guy.
Yeah, Sean Connery. That's the classic.
he will be the
fascist
end all be all
murderer
of,
that we all know and love as James Bond.
but
Well, I think the last time Sean Connery was on Oprah, he was talking about how every now and then you just gotta smack a woman in the face.
and
That's
I
when
don't
you
know
could
why that's
really
not
be a
against the law.
That's when you could really be a celebrity and just say whatever you wanted.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sean
I don't know why that's against the law. I think every once in a while.
Whoa, hold on. Are you? Hold on. Tony just canceled himself. Are you? 'Cause well, it was like we had our buddy Vern on the podcast, and
This
he
was shot a long time ago, right?
yeah, and it was shot 10 years ago,
You saw that one, huh?
and
Don't tell me
he's
you've never
dropping-
met a woman who you didn't want to just smack.
Hold on.
And then you'd go to court and you'd say, "Well, Your Honor, talk to her for 15
You're the
minutes
man now,
and
dog.
tell me you don't want to smack her too."
Well, basically, what we did was he was dropping F-bombs everywhere, and then we had him back on the podcast, and I served him a nice fucking underhand toss, like, hey, maybe apologize for having said the F-word 1,000 times. And he goes, yeah, it's not nice to call people the F-word unless they're being super, super gay. So it was like he struck out again, you know. So before you go any deeper into the murky waters of, well, sometimes it's okay to hit women, let's unpack that just a little bit.
Now, I got to stick up for him here a little bit. If she hits me first, it's game on.
Well, I think
Depends on it. Are you
think
talking
if-
like a big bull dyke
I
that
can-
punches you in the
I
face?
can defend
then
myself.
Yeah. I mean,
I think
If she
in
comes up and hits me first, I got every right to do what I need to do to protect myself. That's in the story. I don't care
I
how
think
big
it's
she is.
I think it's still legal in Kentucky to hit a woman if it's with a stick no bigger than your pinky.
if there,
No,
if
it's
it
a
wasn't,
rule of thumb.
Rule of thumb.
Okay. Well,
Oh, maybe they docked it down to the pinky.
look, if it
Andre the Giant had a big ass pinky.
look here, bitch.
Get me another beer.
if it wasn't for the Union Army, it'd still be legal to own slaves in Kentucky. We shouldn't go, well, it might be legal in Kentucky as any kind of evidence that something might be okay.
And that brings us back to why some geographical areas are better than others.
We've come full circle. Basically, if you find out now, but the thing is, while places might be better than others, should the people from who just happen to be from places that are better than others take pride in that or feel superior to other people because of that. No, they should know that their place is superior to other places.
Fair
But
enough.
it's nothing for you. Didn't have nothing to do with that. I mean, maybe you are making your area a better place now, but as far as it being a good place when you arrived, you didn't have anything to do with it. So I don't know.
I just realized I'm talking about hitting women, and there were the 2 women up there on the deck.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're probably loving your ass.
Yeah. Well, I mean, these.
Let's hope they don't have access to the arsenal we were shooting earlier, because we ain't making it out of here with the 9.9.
Yeah. 6 miles an hour ain't gonna cut it, is it?
Come on, pick up the pace.
We are on what I can only describe as one of the most luxurious and comfortable boats that doesn't go over 8 miles an hour I've ever been on. It's lovely. I really do like the pontoon style of boat gets slept on. You know, people think, oh, well, I need to have like a little house in my boat. Like we were seeing some of those boats we've driven by today. They've got like galleys and.
I can get the zipper attachments. You can see the zippers here.
Okay.
Oh, well, you can't see it on the camera, I'm sure, but see these zippers here?
Yeah.
Oh, I can get. We can have a nice little tent
house.
type area here with windows and stuff that I can buy that attachment.
Nothing better than sleeping on the boat while you're night fishing.
I mean, yeah. Well, check this out. We got a big riptide coming this way.
Yeah, it'll.
Here comes the swell.
We'll rock a little bit.
Adios, Zoom H4.
No, we've got it tied off now. It can't. It won't go away.
Yeah, with a piece of string.
Yeah, with
It's
piece
fishing line.
Fishing line.
It's probably what, 10
20
pounds?
pound test.
That's 6 pound.
6 pound. We're good.
I don't know how to hold the camera.
So, guys, I have a few other topics I wanted to hit this week. One of them, just because we were gonna go shooting, I was like, I'm wanting to get all geared up to shoot some guns and stuff. I was like, oh, I'll watch a good movie, good gun movie. So I decided to watch Heat, which has some pretty badass guns in it, you know.
But also a pretty badass movie. Like, not
no,
good.
it's a shitty movie. It's
That's
the
what I'm
worst. Yeah, fucking Heat sucks. How did I not remember that this movie was terrible? Like-
Yeah, I don't like Robert De Niro losing in the end.
He does lose in the end. You're right.
He fucking went back for the chick. Should have just left. Smacked her in the face and
You
took
never.
off.
I was gonna say it's always the women who get the men in
Yeah.
trouble in the movies. They tell them.
Oh,
They
Dude,
tell them.
You're married. That happens in real life,
Well,
too.
that too. But you tell a woman in a movie, hey, stay right here. What does she do? She doesn't stay right there.
no.
So what's that do? It gets the guy in trouble because now he's got to save her ass. Every time.
Yeah, I remember one time the police in Texas were taking my girlfriend away for I drunken disorderly, or I think it might have been possession of marijuana. This was the time the cops saw her hit me in the face. He was like sitting at a stoplight, and we're out in front of the bar having an argument, and she just hauls off and decks me in the face because I threw her beer on the ground. And the cop
Well, I
comes
smack
over
you
there.
too. That's just not right.
Well, you know, I was angry.
That's
Marty.
that's
You don't.
alcohol.
You
I
don't
was
take.
angry.
You don't take it out on the beer.
And
Keith.
I'd never hit her, but I'll hit that fucking beer out your.
Now take it from her and drink it. That'd be all right.
Either
But just to knock it on the ground and waste it? What the fuck?
I was not thinking straight. But right as the cops were about to take her away, I remember one of them came over to me and he was like, "You better tell your bitch to get her shit together." And I was like, "She doesn't listen to you, and you have a gun." Like
What am I gonna do?
What am
I
I gonna
date
do?
strong women. They don't listen. I don't tell them anything. They don't.
You came over here to arrest her for hitting me. You think she's going to listen to me?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, you better tell your bitch to get her shit together. And I was
So
like,
was the cop, Sean Connery.
yeah, I know. I was like, I don't know. She's not one for reason. But
Spider on Keith's shoulder now.
now we got a spider on me. Get that spider, John.
Other side.
Oh,
There he is.
it's brown recluse. It's gone now.
First podcast on a boat. First podcast where somebody dies from a spider bite.
He just becomes Spider-Man. A fat Spider-Man, but Spider-Man nonetheless.
Get that suit and extra
Slinging
large.
webs.
Yeah. So back to why Heat. Back to why Heat is a terrible movie. So
Val Kilmer,
all the women in the movie
Bubba from
are
Forrest Gump.
horrible people. Like the one lady, Ashley Judd's character, Val Kilmer's girlfriend, is like, where's all the money? And she's holding like fucking $25,000 in her hand. She's got like 3 bricks of hundreds in her hand. She's like, but where's the rest of the money? That's like the first thing out of her mouth. And he's like, look, I just handed you $25K because and that I didn't even have to work for. You know, like we get money because I go out and do things that are the opposite of work. So like it's easy money and there's tons of it, but it's not enough. And
It's never enough.
And they're like, well, yeah, he's like, we got to do another job. My old lady's mad at me. He's like, why would your old lady be mad at you? We just had a huge score. De Niro's counseling Val Kilmer, like, why would and he's like, not enough steaks in the fridge. How many steaks do you need?
Well,
Like, I don't know.
well, and they usually are horrible people in those movies, though, because you'll see.
Do you think they intentionally write these
I
women
think
to
they
be
do.
bad women?
Because what you'll see is a guy come in, and he's just had a horrible damn day. He's been shot at. He's been stabbed. He's been beat up. He's bloody. He's whatever.
Yeah, he's
And
like a woman who gets out of line with you.
Right. So he hands her, you know, a bag full of money.
Yes.
It's $100,000, whatever. And she'll say that. Where's the rest of it?
Well, you mean this money we didn't earn?
Meanwhile, he's bleeding. He's shot. He's stabbed. Whatever. He's, you know, not. Shit, are you all right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you? Do we need to take you to a hospital? Do we need to find you some medical attention? Do we need to take you to a, you know, okay, you're a criminal. Do we need to go find the vet? Because they always go to the vet, because the vet will take care of them without alerting the, you know, whatever. But
Veterinarians
Yeah,
are underground doctors.
yeah, do we need to
Like
find you the
Dr.
underground
Rosa.
doctor? Do we need to find no?
Better Call Saul.
You know, none of that shit. None of the. Are you okay? Are you okay? No, it's where's the rest of my fucking money? Where's the you know? Where's the milk?
Relatable.
I told you to pick up milk at the convenience store.
Yeah,
But they're not that different in real life. I mean, you come home, you fucking clean the house, you're all excited about how the house is clean. Your wife walks in, she goes, "You didn't take the fucking trash out?"
Okay, you saw my house. I didn't
All right,
clean the
well,
fucking
you know
house.
what? The point's still made. God damn it!
But
No, well, basically what you're saying is
Or
it's
like
never,
when John
it's
walks
never
into
enough.
his expensive storage unit, tells you to clean up a dish, he looks past the fact that you vacuumed one room.
Yeah.
you are a horrible bitch.
I don't know. I can't hate on that movie. It's got such a good cast.
And
De Niro,
they make
Pacino,
Trejo.
Tom Sizemore,
Yeah,
John
but
Voight,
you know what? The thing about
Bubba
it
from
is you
Forrest
can have
Gump,
you
the
can have
State
a
Farm
great cast and
guy
have a horrible
from
movie.
24.
Tom Sizemore dies too soon. They should have killed Val Kilmer. Because
You-
Val Kilmer,
No, Val Kilmer's
they kept him around just so they could give Ashley Judd, his horrible cunt of a wife, more lines in the film.
But you can have a great cast and have a horrible movie. It happens all the time.
I do like how Sizemore's like, it's not about the money for me. It's about killing people and stealing other people's money. Like, it's not, it's like
Yeah.
when
Henry Rollins.
who is wearing the biggest shoulder pads in a jacket I've ever seen. Like, first off, that dude was already built. He didn't need He's got shoulder pads like one of those old army generals. It should have had fucking little frills hanging down the arm.
But
Rope tied around
The
it.
guy that's the astronaut in Armageddon,
They make Danny Trejo the scapegoat.
Danny Trejo.
He's the snitch. Where when it's like clearly he's not the snitch. It's those other guys they're at war with that
Wayne
narked him
Grow,
out.
dude. Wayne Grow.
Exactly.
They beat it out of him. He didn't snitch.
oh,
Yeah, they beat it out of him.
it's a shitty movie.
It's so shitty and it's so long. It's a 3-hour epic. It should have been First off, heist movies are like comedies. 90 minutes. You don't need 2 hours of a heist movie and also the second heist, you're not supposed to abandon ship halfway through the second heist because there's guys in a fucking there should have been the dudes stationed in the truck outside the second heist. They should have been in there, and Pacino should have been in a different location, and they killed all the guys in the truck. That would have been a great second heist. Or the second heist should have just gone off without a hitch as a way to demonstrate how good these dudes are, their skill set as criminals. But they do 1.5 heists to start the movie because they knock over the truck in the beginning. Then the second heist, they give up with 2 minutes left on the safe because these bozo cops are bouncing around inside this 18-wheeler shipping container. It was, and then you go on, you do the third heist, and it can go however it goes. Shoot out in the streets, all that would have been fine. And then roll fucking credits, because maybe a little bit of them escaping the country and then roll credits. There's no, let me just stop off. We've made it. We got out of here. I'm going to stop off so I can set off a fire alarm and shoot a couple more guys in the head. What is
Grow, dude?
Is that who he stopped to go kill? Was Wayne Grow? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
He didn't get the girl. He should have left.
Yeah, but
Now, here's my question, though. It's a shitty-ass movie. But how long have we been talking about it? Did they make their fucking money out of it or not?
yeah. In fact, this is.
But they made their fucking money out of it because of the cast that they had.
Exactly.
Fair
They
enough.
stacked up that movie so much.
People went because they go, well, it's got Pacino. It's got De Niro. It's got Kilmer. It's got Judd. It's got all these great... So it must be a good movie.
Right.
And then they went and they saw a 3-hour movie and they go,
No, it's got
Jesus
a Pooh
Christ,
from
that
The Simpsons
sucked.
too. He's in it.
Oh, really?
Hank Azaria.
so
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I went to see a movie that I thought was going to be good because it had 2 or 3
So-and-so,
really
yeah.
good movies or people in it. And then I walked out and I go, Jesus. Really?
You might as well just watch a documentary on the North Hollywood shootout, I guess.
Yeah, well, how many
Fuck it,
movies...
That's why I watched The Big Lebowski and fucking Raising Arizona over and over and over and over and over again because they're good fucking movies. And I know they're good fucking movies. And I'm not disappointed.
Turn to the right.
Yeah, I'd
Shut
rather...
the fuck up, Donnie.
I rewatched a bad movie. And how many movies have there ever been where the good guy and the bad guy go on a date in the middle for no reason? Why? He's like, he pulls him over. He's ready to gun him down and De Niro's ready to gun him down in the street, and he's like, "Let me buy you a cup of coffee."
Well,
How about some pie? It's on the LAPD.
and you know what? You know what else? I'm not even above watching a crappy movie for the sake of watching a crappy movie. But that's what Netflix is for. Go on Netflix. There's fucking all kinds of... I watch bad horror movies all the time for the sake of watching a bad horror. I'll hit...
Those are just fun.
I'll hit Netflix and I'll look at it and I'll go, yeah, that's probably a bad movie. Yeah, let's watch it.
I'm
And
already
yeah,
paying for the shit.
and yeah, it's a bad movie. But you know what? I went into it knowing it was going to be a bad movie.
Now, are
And
you like
you know what? I enjoyed it as a bad movie.
Those are only good if they show some tits every now and then, though.
That's my wife's problem, though. She's like, I'll go, you want to watch this? And she's like, I don't like watching those with you because they're either like super gory or they're just softcore porn. And I'm like,
Your point?
that's what these are. That's what all of these are.
Yeah.
That's why you watch these.
That's why, I don't like watching, she's like, I don't like watching vampire movies or werewolf movies because that's what those are. And I'm like, yeah, that's the genre.
Vampire movies have always been kind of softcore porn.
Yeah.
There's a total sexual element to the. I mean, they neck to kill. I mean, it's like.
You've been hanging out with the guy at the fucking front of the park, haven't you?
When we came into the lake here, we had to stop at a hut and there was a goth kid. Running the. I hate nature, but it's the only paying job in this area.
It's the only job I don't have to think about.
He's gonna burn candles on the wings of a raven later tonight, but he's fucking giving you your fucking parking pass at the fucking lake.
You just don't imagine, like, the lake vibe is very, hey, this is what we worked all week for. We're relaxing, we're enjoying ourselves, nature, breathing the fresh air. And this kid's like, all air is polluted. There is no such thing as fresh air. Man, I never were you either of you guys into that gothy kind of stuff at all?
God, no.
No? In your younger days?
Fucking glam rock, bitch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
You're a
you made your own
Metallica
mistake.
Poison, Def Leppard, all of that shit. Glam rock.
Motley Crue.
I had fucking mullet.
Bedazzled headband.
Yeah. I had well, your cousins got me into
Cut off jean jacket.
fucking bandanas around my ankles. Like Van Halen and shit.
Mickey Free is not a girl.
I'm talking about like Robbie and shit, your cousins.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Now, my cousin Robbie, who rose to the highest ranks of an enlisted man can in the Marine Corps, does also still love to go in drag to.
The highest the highest he could go in the Marine Corps, which is still cannon fodder and.
No, he was at the Pentagon. Yeah, he was
on 9/11.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to
9/11.
9/11. 9/11 was yesterday. I remembered. I don't know if you guys remembered. They said we're not supposed to forget, but it's cool that he was at the Pentagon. I'd like to ask him sometime, now that he's no longer in there, exactly.
So how'd they get all those crisis actors in there while you were doing actual work?
Yeah, what Air Force base did they fire the missile that hit the Pentagon from? Have you guys? Are you guys at all into the conspiracy theories around 9/11?
Not really.
Not really. I think.
Those guys. I am of the same thing of, as far as asking those guys about those first responders that were about, as I was about asking your dad about his service, which is.
You don't really ask them.
You just don't fucking do it.
Yeah, but my cousin, he's up in Sheridan working on a 6-pack right now. I don't think he'd get mad at me if I was like, hey, so you can tell me, the Pentagon, now that was an inside job, right? It's like, I feel like he might be like, no, it most certainly wasn't. That was a plane that had a weird engine that no plane in the last fucking 50 years has had. He might say that. He might be like, look, the jury's out. Because I was on the ground, I don't know for sure. Or he might be like, I just can't say, and then give me a little wink, and then, I'll finally know what I've always known all along.
Because of how traumatic that may be for certain people.
Yeah.
I would just be like,
yeah,
I'm not even going to ask what it was like. I'm not going to ask I'm just not going to ask. And, you know, like I said, your dad, I know there's some shit there. I know.
Vietnam wasn't fun for.
So I know him sticking out the side of a helicopter. Never, ever would I ask him. Now,
if he volunteers the information, that's one thing.
Would I ever be curious about? Am I ever curious, or was I ever curious about that? Absolutely.
Yeah.
About first actual. I mean, you see that stuff on History Channel and all that shit. But actual first-hand information from somebody who was there in the country, you know, whatever. But would I ever ask anybody about that? Absolutely not.
Well,
out of respect. Understandable. What I'm saying
because I would never want to bring up anything that may or may not be
trauma or
traumatic for them. And I know some people have very traumatic issues with that.
Yeah.
And I know some people had... Now, I know one guy who talked about it openly, but his experience there was not at all... I mean, he was like a supply clerk. He went over there. He never saw any action, never saw any of that stuff. He was over there. He just handed shit out. See you later, bye. I mean,
that sounds like a good gig.
Yeah, I mean,
versus actual combat, I would definitely take the stocking stuff and handing stuff out.
I had some buddies that were in Afghanistan, and that's all they were supposedly there doing. They had bullets coming through their huts just the same as frontline guys did.
So,
you know, and it's hard to ask. That's always been my thing. It's like my wife's grandfather worked in Area 51 on all the spy planes and shit. And it's like, how do you ask the right questions, you know? And I remember the first time I was talking to him about it, and he was very guarded.
Is his name Bob Lazar?
He just looked at me, he goes, and he's the most Christian man I've ever met, and never heard him cuss, never anything. He just looked at me, he goes, before we get started, there are no fucking aliens in Area 51.
That'd been my first question.
He says that is everybody's first question.
Did you dissect an alien? Do they have green goo in their heads? Like Mars Attacks, you know?
Oh, that's a good movie.
But I don't even know how to ask him the right questions to learn anything about it, you know?
Well, and I think, like, in that situation, hell, there may be stuff that, I mean, it's like, okay.
There are no aliens in Area 51.
Would he be?
Mars Attacks.
I mean, they're
No,
so much
Area
classified.
He still gets
52
papers
now?
from the CIA because he was CIA side
Yeah.
of things that tells him what he can and can't talk about. So this man's 94 years old, still getting documents from the CIA saying this has been declassified or this is still classified.
So
that's fucked up.
So I mean, it's like, okay,
94's too old.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
94?
I'm curious, but what do you ask? What can you? What
Let
can't
loose all
you?
them secrets.
Yeah.
94.
Dude, that's how he made it to 94, is there were aliens in Area 51, and they gave him their powers.
He's one of those little Hawaiian natives that probably, you know, he looks like a little Chinaman, you know, so he's got he's got that gene going for him. He'll probably live to 110.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Still living on his
isn't it
own,
China?
driving his own fucking car.
Isn't it China where they've got that one community where people live to be like 125 and 110
It's ridiculous.
and it's like what are they doing right? You know?
Well, they don't have
Tai Chi.
Well,
they don't have the diet we have. That's one thing.
Yeah, they don't have KFC in China.
but why the fuck do you want to live
Oh,
to be
yeah, they do.
125?
I ate at it.
Right.
Oh, really?
I mean, if your dick don't work no more, what the?
Isn't that really
Well,
when...
fuck. If we have to go by that standard, we're going to be dead long before then.
Tony's like, hey, I'm still pushing lead, son.
I was gonna say shit.
My shit's been
This
chopped.
this stiff breeze is
I mean, I'm not saying that I can't get it.
Come on,
going,
Tony,
but-
you really got it like that? Because like I was maybe like 27, and I could still like just rub my dick on the fucking corner of a wall and fucking
oh god yeah.
be slapping wood. But like now I'm almost 30 years old, and it's like occasionally I gotta work for it a little
No, I was playing golf with
No,
Fritz
I'm 40,
yesterday.
I'm 45 years old. I kid you not. I can think about it for like a second, and it's like, bing.
Fuck
Fritz
yeah.
yesterday.
I'm screwed right
Imagine-
now. I
Now-
mean, we're just talking about it. I'm
and
ready to go.
and that is a problem because, of course, I'm 45 years old. I don't get it as often as I did when I was
Yeah.
younger.
Yesterday.
So, it's like,
So it's more frustrating.
So-
the fact that you're still competent in that regard has actually become.
I mean, my sex drive is still way freaking
Well,
up here.
I just want to go on the record and say I want to come on and do the podcast a little bit more and do a little shooting because I got laid last night just in case I didn't come back from this experience.
Hey, you're welcome back anytime. It might mean that it gets you a little something.
No, yesterday when we were playing golf, Fritz said, I said something about the vaccine. And he said, "Yeah, I got the Pfizer. They're the ones that make Viagra. If they can bring your dick back to life, they can keep me alive."
I don't need to hear about Fritz's dick.
Yeah, that's a
I
little
think-
extreme.
I don't know if he was talking through experience, but I thought it was funny.
Those are really good.
The 6-foot strawberry blonde.
Yeah.
I get shit for
They're
a
expensive,
girl's gun,
but they're good.
and he brings strawberry blonde beer out here, and we're not gonna give him shit about drinking girl beer.
That's not girl beer.
No, it's not girl beer.
It's because it's a.
Is it strawberry flavored?
It's got a little bit of a strawberry. It's a strawberry blonde. It's a blonde beer with a little bit of a strawberry
All right.
hint.
Finish to it. Got a little strawberry essence.
Shit. If we went to the pizza place that I was telling you about, I'd hook you up with a super fucking pale ale. It's kick ass that's brewed in Speedway.
Oh, up in on the west side, Indy.
Yeah. Oh, it's killer. But it'll knock you on your ass too because it's 8 VOC.
See, I like that. I like the high octane beers because it makes me, I still like to have a shot with a beer, but I don't like to drink, like 50 ounces of beer in an evening. 2 or 3 is enough liquid for me. If I want to up my buzz, I'll just drink liquor.
Yeah,
So-
I'm not. A can of beer or two, and I'm ready for some liquor. Fuck it. I'd
Yeah.
rather have a Jack and Coke any day. Jack, or give me some Crown. Crown, put it on ice and call it good.
Really? See, Crown's
Yeah.
one of those that I actually prefer to have some mixer with my Crown. A bourbon, I don't mind ice or water. I don't need anything to change the flavor of it. But rye whiskeys, to me, they just kind of have that kind of almost like you taste it more in your nose
See here,
than you
that's
do
the
in
good
your
part.
in your mouth. It's kind of like a
let me
Kind of like a wine. I like my wine really dry, where I taste it in the nose.
oh, okay.
let me
okay,
school you boys on mixing.
Okay.
Let me school your audience on mixing.
Do you mean like mixology, like making a cocktail, or
So, if you're gonna mix a whiskey,
okay?
why are you buying expensive whiskey?
Yeah.
Why are you
There you go
spending
there.
money on Crown?
Ezra
Which-
Brooks, early
which-
times. Those are
which-
the only ones you
I was gonna say,
use for
which
the
I think is,
juleps.
I think, don't get me started on goddamn Crown anyway. I think it's overpriced anyway. It's not that good.
It's only like 20 a fifth.
It's not that good.
Seagram's VO.
Yeah. Seagram's VO is pretty good.
I've been buying the Ezra Brooks. It's even cheaper than Jack, which I'm a hardcore
Oh.
Jack Jack guy.
Ezra Brooks is
Don't
like,
get me wrong.
I'm pretty sure that's like $9.99 a fifth, or maybe $11.99 a fifth.
Here it's 14.
See, I
Okay.
don't
But
buy
it's
a
still-
fifth. I go for the fucking jugs, man. Let's
But it's still
go to
$6.
Costco, get you a couple big jugs, and you're done.
It's still
Yeah.
$6. It's still $6 less a fifth than Jack Daniels.
This is a flavored beer. That is not a strawberry afternote at all. This is a straight up strawberry beer. But
So,
it's good.
it's very good.
It tastes delicious. but-
So it's still a very Ezra Brooks still very good. You're mixing it with Coke, ginger ale, whatever you're mixing it with.
I like whiskey ginger.
You're not fucking changing. You're not knowing the difference if you're mixing it, because you're diluting it with sugar and all of that shit anyway. So don't waste your money with super high-end shit unless you're drinking it straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
just wasting money. That's all you're doing. You're wasting money.
There. That's why, like, I would never buy Absolute to mix. Like, when I drink vodka.
Now that
I drink vodka.
That's a little bit different.
That I will, because
I don't want the burn.
You have some aftertaste to it. You do have. If I'm doing vodka, I will have to drink a little bit higher end, because
I just like a good Svedka is plenty. If I'm
Now-
just putting cranberry juice in
now-
it, why the hell should I spend more than $11 a bottle?
if you want to buy cheap vodka, you can buy cheap vodka. Then you go down to your auto parts store, buy you a cheap carbon cabin air filter. Pour that shit through it. You've carbon filtered it.
Okay, you heard it here first, folks. The way to
You've got to
make plastic jug vodka more palatable is to not go buy a Brita filter or any of that crazy stuff that they run water through. You gotta go to the auto parts store. And what kind of filter is this?
Your car has a cabin air filter, right?
Okay, the cabin air.
The
okay.
cabin air brings in the okay.
The air you breathe as
Yeah.
you drive down
You
the
get
road.
the one
yes.
that has the carbon in it.
Okay,
Which is basically a Brita filter.
Yeah,
interesting.
it's a lot
But that's
cheaper.
a lot cheaper.
It's a lot cheaper. Then you pour your vodka through that. That's all the higher end vodkas do. Is it's an extra step of filtering. You're filtering it through carbon.
Oh yeah, because you'll see like $9.99 half gallons of vodka that say 6 times distilled, and I'm like, yeah, well, but did you ever filter it? I'm glad you boiled it off 6 times.
Okay,
but if you started with a vat of floating rats and
Have you ever noticed?
sewage,
Have you ever noticed after a night of drinking whiskey or something like that, or higher end vodka, that you have the black shits?
Oh yeah, Black Death shit for
That's
sure.
because
dude.
that's the residual carbon inside the fucking liquor.
Really? Okay. Because, like, when I went to Ball State, I used to drink plastic jug vodka and Red Pop. That was my drink of choice. It didn't really matter. Code Red Mountain Dew, Big Red, Barks Red Cream Soda. Interchangeable on the Red Pop. But the cheapest available vodka at the time
Cheaper
was,
the
like,
better.
Wolf Schmidt, I think, or Barton's. And so we would drink Barton's, and we would do this thing called Race to the Label. So me and several of my drinking buddies, Juice, Chris, Skinny Bob, Black Rob, we would fucking chug to the label, and then you carry the bottle around for the rest. You're good to go, and then you can carry around the bottle and pass out shots throughout the evening, mix drinks out of it and stuff. Well, one night apparently I didn't give enough away, and it wound up empty. And the next day I had one of those wake ups where you're just like, oh, I gotta shit, and you're like running to the bath. You got a duck run, you're like you're on the heels of your feet running down the hallway. And I get to the bathroom, and it was one of those situations where the act of sitting down, like the way you have to, the way your muscles have to contract or work together, just to sit onto the commode was all it took to unleash the floodgates. So it's like I feel myself starting to shit as I go to. I'm like, oh no, I can't sit down. So I'm like trying to lay back onto the toilet, and I can't get down onto the bowl, and I'm like, fuck it, and I just sit down like normal. And as I sit down, I sprayed the entire wall behind the toilet. It's one of those ones with the pipe running up and the little handle right here. So it's just like the whole
Like that chicken hall pass.
pipe tubing is covered in shit. The handle's covered in shit. The back of the bowl, and then
I've
you know,
had to shit sometimes, but I don't think I've ever had a shit like that.
once I sat down, it's just like fucking, you know, like it was like my asshole was throwing up, you know, just going and going, and I practically filled the commode. It was terrible. It looked like a fucking bowl of melted ice cream, but black, like black ice cream anyway, and. So I had to leave that there.
What kind of fucking ice
you know,
cream do you eat?
I'm just saying, soupy with the lumps, and like there was some of it that was still holding on to the temperature, still holding temp. Wow. But like I'm in a dormitory bathroom, you know, 25 toilets down a row, and the shower's right there, and I know that's where I'm headed. There's no going back to my room. Well, I got shit legs like crazy. It's fucking. I know what's behind me is a nightmare. It looks like a murder scene. And so naturally, I do what any college freshman does when they make an incredibly disgusting mess in a public place. I leave it there for somebody who's paid to deal with it. And so I'm in the shower, right, washing up after this fucking hellacious Black Death shit, and I hear a guy go, "What the fuck?" And I got a little chuckle, you know.
Somebody shared in my misery.
He's like, "They don't pay me enough for this shit." And I'm like, "Oh no, somebody had already gotten the janitor." I'm like,
That's when I come out of the
Do they
shower
know
and
it's- do they
I
know
come
it's
out of the
me?
shower and I go, "Yeah, dude, somebody fucked that up."
well, I figured they knew it was me. I'm like, if they're able to get the fucking janitor there before I'm even out the bathroom, somebody must have come upon it moments after I left. And I'm like,
They
so
had to
now
hear me in the shower.
I'm nervous to leave the shower. But it's not like I can wait in there for the amount of time it was going to take him to clean that. That could be hours. So I just, toughed it out. And I was like, and I'm so suspect because I don't have my towel with me. I'm just putting on dirty clothes to wear back after I'm hopping out the shower fresh to put on dirty clothes, and I don't have any soaps or my little shower kit thing that all the guys at school would take with them to the bathroom. I'm just, I came down here to take a shower and dry off with a shirt and then wear.
I just came for a nice rinse.
Yeah.
I like to air dry. Show me the motherfucking money.
I just, I'm pretty sure that guy knew it was me when I left, but he didn't say anything, and I appreciated that.
I like to drink champagne.
So you're saying to me if I'd have just gone and got some stuff from the AutoZone, I could have avoided this mess altogether?
No,
then-
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it will help you.
Yeah, if you
It'll
buy
help you with
10
your
of those
fucking-
filters and put them in your pants.
It helps with your hangovers because you're not drinking as many impurities.
Oh.
It makes your cheap vodka into a little bit higher end tasting vodka.
See, I thought it was the poisoning yourself with the alcohol that made your hangover so bad.
Well, you
but-
got to
No.
stop somewhere before that happens.
Yeah. No,
Oh, okay.
a lot of your hangover is not some of your hangover is your dehydration from the alcohol and all of that. But a lot of your hangover is from the impurities from the cheap alcohol. If you drink higher end alcohol, you get less and less hangover.
Yeah, it's like you can get a hangover from drinking Johnny Blue, but you've got to drink the whole bottle.
For instance, when I was in high school, I would drink that fucking
They hadn't invented
Dark
alcohol
eyes.
yet.
I would have my liquor guy get me fucking a fifth of Dark Eyes.
Ooh, the Dark Eyes,
Okay.
that's a good one.
Fucking Dark Eyes.
Kamchatka.
And I would fucking drink that straight out the bottle. I didn't care. Vodka was my drink of choice. Dark Eyes was cheap. I'd drink it. And I'd suffer for it because it was cheap ass goddamn vodka.
Yeah.
Now, I can't drink cheap ass vodka. It'll kill me. So, I drink a little bit higher end vodka. I'll drink an Absolute or something. I will mix it.
Yeah,
But then
what do
again-
you mix with? Cranberry?
But I'm not. But when I do mix vodka, I'm mixing a little bit more. Let's say higher end cocktails. I'm not drinking Screwdrivers and.
Go ahead and take it. It's no big deal.
I'm not mixing Screwdrivers and that shit. I'm drinking melon balls with Midori, which is already expensive.
Ooh.
I'm mixing a little bit classier shit.
See, I just like if it's good high end vodka like an Absolute or a Grey Goose or Bellevue or something like that. I'll just chill it on the rocks and pour it right into a glass and drink it cold
Or maybe a martini.
because
Yeah.
it goes down so smooth. And like I'm usually I would just have it like shots with beer or something.
And the same with tequila. If I'm drinking tequila, I'll do a higher end tequila. But if I'm drinking just like bourbon or whatever, and I'm drinking a bourbon and Coke or a highball or whatever, I'll get a cheaper bourbon. Because I'm not drinking that much of it, number one. And number two,
Well, I feel
a
like
bourbon, my palate is not what I like. Is I like a harsher bourbon anyway, so like a Jack Daniels, a nice sour mash type of deal anyway. So
Jack
I like
Daniels isn't bourbon.
No, it's Tennessee whiskey.
no, it's sour mash, but like Ezra Brooks, also a sour mash. But if I'm drinking
Ezra
a bourbon,
Brooks is Garth Brooks' twin brother.
is like I like to taste it. I like a nice harsher.
Yeah,
Now-
you like the bite.
Now, and when I'm mixing it, I like to taste it. So I will get a little bit of a harsher. Anyway,
I
think
never get to
bourbon's a
smoke
new
on this
snob
podcast.
drink,
It's
though,
so
but
nice.
but if I'm getting
Hipster.
something to drink straight, I will get a more a higher end.
have you tried this bourbon?
I will get
It's a $50 bottle.
I
Try
will
this
get-
one that's $100.
I will get
They
a
taste the same.
I will
No,
get a
see, I think that you're wrong there, AJ. I think that more like the difference between bourbons is varied like the difference between the ground and the sky. And the difference between like Dark Eyes and Belvedere is like 6 inches off
Yeah,
the
but
ground.
I've had a $30 bottle, and I've had like the $500 bottle. You know,
Some Pappy.
I don't notice a good enough a difference in the taste between that Oceans to the Pappy to make that Pappy worth the money. But people want that. They want that bottle, and they want it for their display case to say, "Look at the bourbon I've bought."
Yeah, there has developed a kind of a hipstery obsession with
And-
bourbons, like Scotch. They're,
Yeah.
they're trying to make it like it's
Yeah.
like Scotch when it's
Yeah,
really
right.
not.
Now, I agree with him to an extent. My palate is not sophisticated enough from, let's say, a $50 bottle of Bushmills,
Okay.
which I like
Yeah.
very much.
Bushmill's good Irish whiskey.
Yeah.
So I will, if I'm gonna drink straight, I'll buy a bottle of Bushmills, or I have no problem buying a $50 bottle. Now I can tell a difference between a $14 bottle or a $20 bottle and a $50 bottle, because there is a different smoothness. There is a different burn.
Yeah.
Okay, I can tell that difference. But from a $50 bottle to a $100 bottle, my palate is not sophisticated enough to tell a difference between $50.
Yeah, I smoke way too many Camel Lights for there to be all that big a difference between the liquors I drink. You know, like I mute my palate with cigarettes anyway. That's why I don't like to go to super nice restaurants. Like steakhouse is like the top tier for me. You know, a place where you could get an aged steak and some cream spinach that's all I need. Really, that's the top tier. If you're gonna go to a place where it's like a Nobu, or like a place where it's like 120 a plate,
Chris.
Yeah.
Ruth's Chris is like that's the most
That's
I would
top
I
line.
would I would
So-
go to, because after that, when you're talking about like these places where you got to be blindfolded so you lose your sense of sight to heighten, so you get that perfect.
That's only good during sex.
I could take you.
Yeah, doesn't have shit to do with.
I
food.
could take you. I could take you to the steakhouse here in town,
Oh, you got a good steak.
which is the nicest restaurant here in town. Okay, I could take you to the steakhouse here in town, which is not expensive.
Yeah, it's reasonable.
Okay. Get you the filet. It is the best filet that I have ever eaten.
Really.
It is tender.
Yeah.
It is melt in your mouth.
What's the steakhouse here in
It's
town?
called Bynum's.
Bynum's.
It is-
Okay,
it
so
is-
it's a one-off. There's no. It's not.
I think
it's
they
not
have
a
another
chain.
I was
one.
gonna say they have a couple,
But it is a fabulous filet. Okay?
Okay.
I've had other fillets, and I've had way more expensive fillets. I'd still go to this over here. Why? Because those other fillets were not any for the price.
Yeah.
It's not that much better.
Yeah.
you
it
know,
is
if
not-
money
it
was
is
no
not-
object,
It is not.
it'd be one thing.
It is not $20 versus $50.
Well, I think that's what
it
he's
is
saying
not,
is that
and
money,
that fillet
even
is
if
not
money was
$30.
no object, it's just not. Why throw it?
Right.
Even if money's no object, you shouldn't flush it down the
Right.
toilet.
It is not
you know?
$30 better.
I don't know.
It is
If money
not-
was
I've
no
never
object,
had
I
a-
wouldn't care what I'm doing
It's
with
not
it.
a wolf. It's not a Wolf Schmidt and Red Pop shit. It's fucking. It's money. It's still you can still use it for something
Yeah.
better than.
I mean, it's not. I've never had a steak that was $30 better than this steak.
Now I have to go to Bynum's. Great.
Now-
you've given me another reason I've got to come back.
Now
here.
that being said, the pizza place in Monrovia, it's a mom and pop place. It is a little more expensive. Is there pizza?
Is it the best pizza in the state?
Is it more? Is the amount of money that you spend more on that pizza better than what you would get if you went and bought pizza at Pizza Hut or Papa John's or whatever? Abso-damn-lutely. It is that much goddamn better. So I am not above paying more for something that is better.
You want quality.
If it is better, I will pay more.
Yeah.
I have no problem paying more for something that is better. But it has to be better.
It has to be. It has to be noticeable.
And it has to be, if I'm paying $10 more, it has to be $10 more better. If it is $5 more, it has to be $5 more better. Or it has to be $5 more convenient.
Well, guys.
So I'm saying, if the drive to Monrovia and the price difference was more than, if it was so much more inconvenient to go there than it was to just get Pizza Hut, then I'd go to Pizza Hut. But it's not.
I feel you.
It's a 20-minute drive and much better pizza.
So we've had some time to marinate on this, and I feel like we should go back to it at the to wrap things up. So the long and short of it is you're saying that sometimes you can hit women.
Oh,
When is one of those times? Now we've established self-defense, big woman.
I don't think she has to be big.
You don't even
mean,
think she has to be big.
Women
Okay.
want equal rights. If they're equal enough to hit me, they're equal enough to get hit back.
Okay, now, Tony, what exactly is your philosophy when it comes to pugilism and the fairer sex?
she's just being a pain in the ass. I think. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I know you're kidding.
But
okay, so
actually, you know what? In our family, you don't hit women.
No, you
Yeah.
You never hit women.
It's never been my
and
experience.
here's the thing. In our family, if a woman did come up and hit you and you hit her back,
you got
might
like
as
5
well
dudes
go to-
jumping your
A
ass.
man-
Might as well go to Mexico
I was going to say a man is going to come
and whoop your ass.
and whoop your ass for hitting the woman.
Exactly.
That's how it was in our
Oh
family.
yeah, absolutely.
So you just might as well take that ass whooping from the woman
Well,
because that you're getting your ass whooped anyway. So
that's what I've always done.
you know,
I've had several girlfriends who, through just, the normal fighting that you do, the arguing and stuff that you do in a relationship, got to a point where they lost their temper and struck me. I can say for sure at least 2 girlfriends have gotten to the point where they went ahead and struck me. And not only did it not hurt, it was so laughable that, like, the one, I remember she hit me, and I go, really? And then she burst out laughing because she just had,
kind of like my former brother-in-law.
she had no idea how little it would do to me. She thought, I'm going to clock him, and he's going to at least be a little dazed or fucking, or maybe I'll send him into the rage I'm trying to get out of him, But I'm just standing there smiling like, really? And so, like, I think you're better off, even if a woman's hitting you, you just take the ass whooping. Because the chances of it being a genuine ass whooping are
the only problem
virtually
is
none.
though. The only problem is though, is even if you take the ass whooping, chances are the cops come. You're still going to jail.
Yeah. All you have to do is she could have been punching you in the face for a half hour, and the damage she has done will be as laughable as we were just discussing. But you punch back once.
Well, you don't
You're
even have to
fucking-
punch back.
Yeah.
She could punch you for a half an hour. You grab her
I was
wrist,
gonna say, you grab a wrist, you're toast.
and you're going to jail. That's how fucked up things are.
But let's say perfect world, it's legal. Like you have the risk of jail is not even a factor. We're just talking morally. I feel like there's nothing innately immoral about hitting anybody who attacks you. Kind of like
I'm the
it's
same
a fair
way.
it's a fair
Yeah.
play.
I mean, in all
Our
seriousness,
instinct
no.
is to survive. If you have to fight to survive, that's the situation. We will rise to that situation.
okay.
If the other side of it
man
is
or
dead.
woman, I
Here,
feel
man
like
or woman.
if they're small enough that you can just stop them and keep yourself from being hurt, that's what you do.
That's your obligation.
The legal thing.
Morally, that's
Yeah,
your
yeah,
obligation.
Well,
I agree.
the legal
because
thing.
we could do so much more damage.
Legally,
I feel like you guys are drifting further and further
Well-
away from Sean Connery right now.
so legally, let's say you and I are in a fight.
Yes.
I can go. Say you attack me.
Okay.
I can go 1 threat lethality level above what you bring at me in order to defend myself. So, that being said, you come at me with your fists. Now, things being equal.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, things being equal, you come at me with your fists. I can use that mic stand.
Okay.
Or this mic stand or whatever to defend myself. That is one
You're allowed to get the upper hand by one step
step
because you're
Okay.
the attacked party.
right. So that legally between men, between all things being equal. Now, there are other extenuating circumstances. One, I could argue, Your Honor, he outweighs me by a lot. So there's
I
that.
appreciate that, Tony. Though
You could go the Con Air rate.
But
this
yeah.
episode is brought to you by the word "a lot,"
But-
which is a nice way of
so he outweighs me.
referring to how fat I am.
He outweighs me. So, but if you came at me with just your fists and I shoot you, that escalation would not fly.
Yeah.
There has to
Absolutely.
be more to it.
Because I've escalated it more than... Now, if you came at me with the mic stand, Now you've got a weapon. I can escalate it one above that, so I could shoot you.
So does this go far enough that I can just drop a nuke on your ass?
So I'm allowed. I'm
What's a
allowed
step above that?
I'm allowed to escalate one level above what I am being
I like how
attacked.
it goes from mic stand to gun.
So
There aren't other
Well, I mean-
weapons that you
Not
can
a-
sandwich in between.
mic stand, baseball bat.
I come out
Whatever.
with a K bar.
Yeah,
You can blast me.
right. So
A woman, like
There-
if a woman comes at you with a knife, then you're allowed to deck her at least twice before you take the knife away.
So that being said, that's between all things being equal. You know, weight, abilities, size.
yeah, like you said, Con Air. If these hands are lethal weapons,
Yeah.
get the fuck out of here.
So,
Fucking Bruce Lee over here.
but that is
Give me the
again, if you know, it's still slanted towards women, in that men are bigger. In the eyes of the law, men are bigger. Men are supposed
No,
to
in
be
the
able,
eyes of reality, men
We're-
are structurally bigger.
we're
and
supposed to be able
more
to
sound for
subdue
combat.
them. We're supposed to be able to do all of that stuff, and therefore it gets a little muddied in that instance.
Yeah.
That being said,
But like,
but in reality, or in a perfect world, like you said, or in a everything's equal world, if a woman came up, punched me in the face, damn straight I should be able to punch her back in the face.
Now here's a good
Or I should
question.
be able to defend myself in that reality.
Better movie, Heat or Con Air?
Con
Con Air
all
by
day.
far.
Another
Yeah.
great cast. You got
Cyrus the Virus is
no, Con
Yeah,
Air's a
Vice-
good movie.
Con Air 1 is
Con
a good
Air's
movie.
not an hour too long. It's got Steve Buscemi.
Cyrus
who
the Virus
is the
was
creep who finds his
John
heart.
Malkovich,
Yeah, John Malkovich.
Danny
The
Trejo
best-
again.
the best villain. John Malkovich.
It's got a Chew
plays
from
villain
Robin Hood
better than
Men in
anybody.
Tights. It's got
John Malkovich give you fucking nightmares. out of that.
Marcellus Wallace from
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction.
Well, AJ, where do you come down on men's abilities to fist fight trans Green Berets?
Trans Green Beret.
See, now we're getting into
Now
some
we're
weird.
getting into the
See, I'm
thought,
just fucking
the thought
around.
that
I'm just fucking
I don't
around.
care what they are. If there's Green Beret in there, I'm turning tail and going the other way. I mean, this comes from a guy that just got hit by a Marine Corps guy not that long ago. I fucking defended myself. I got out of the fucking way.
Yeah. And I respect that, because me personally, I'm running. I'm running from almost every man. It doesn't really matter their skill level. It's gonna take a lot of confidence on my part to stand and fight. I must really think. If I just get up in your face in a situation that compromises me in a way that I could end up in a fight,
See, I
I
wish
must
I had
really think I could whoop your ass.
See, I wish the Schulmeyers had
believe
that,
it.
because the Schulmeyers have the, I don't care how fucking big you are, I'm going to stay in my ground, come at me, bro.
Yeah, no, I won't even engage in argument unless I'm pretty sure I could knock the shit out of you. But guys, we've managed to take what I can only describe as probably the most beautiful and scenic place anybody's ever done a podcast, and muck it up with talks of violence and split tails.
I was gonna say we just bullshitted. I don't know what the. We went off on a weird.
Robin
tangent.
Hood, Prince of Thieves, or Robin Hood, Men in Tights?
Ooh,
Men in Tights.
for sure.
Yes.
Shout out to Dave Chappelle,
So,
Got you.
the
Gary
only guy
Ellis.
who's lived a life almost identical to mine.
I would like to do a shameless
nobody
plug
good
before
in
we get off here,
Prince
though.
of Thieves.
What?
I got a shameless plug I'd like to do before we get done.
Oh, I'd love it.
So, me and Tony have always done this illustration and type business. We print company and stuff. He's supposed to bring his oar, so I could show you the oar that I built for his boat, and it was a a whole special, you know. But I just wanted to tell everybody, if you ever needed some printing needs, you need to come to Schulmeyer and Hull Illustration and Type, because at Shit Inc. we've got all your printing needs covered like a rusty trombone.
I love it, and we'll definitely put a link. What was the name of that one more time?
It's Schulmeyer and Hull Illustration and Type, or Shit Inc.
Shit Inc. I love it. This episode is brought to you by Shit Inc. and the word a lot. John, you want to say something to take us out of here?
The night they drove old Dixie down,
Oh, God.
and all the bells were ringing. Ba-bum, ba-bum.
Ba-da-ba-boom.